So after all these years, you decided it's time to finally get back into Warlord Saga the Storm. If that is the case, you are in the right place. Hey everybody, Christopher Caro, aka Nirvana Tool, and I am here to walk you through every little step that you would need in order to kind of get back into the game. And I swear, it's very easy. There may be a lot of steps, and if someone was to come and talk to you and be like, oh, you just have to do this, might be a little bit. So that's why I wanted to make a video here, really update you on just exactly where the people are, exactly what the people are playing, and what exactly you need in order to be playing Warlord, all of us, online, absolutely free. So let's start us off with first where you can find everybody. And with that, I'm going to do some fancy little scene change. Here we go. Let's see. Alrighty, look at this. I love it when it works. So first things first, you need to find the communities. And there are two places here. So the first place I'm going to show you is the Facebook group. Yes, people still use Facebook. I mean, we're old. Warlord's been around for now 21 plus years. A lot of old people play this game. It's just how it is. So that's why we are at the social media platform of choice is Facebook. So there is a Facebook group called Warlord CCG, public group, currently, as the recording of this video, 1.3K members. So here is the first place. Actually, you can see with all those members, these are all legacy people. All people, anyone who has known of the old AEG game up until when it was Phoenix Interactive, whatever it may be, this is where a lot of the people usually find themselves, assuming they haven't deleted their Facebook page. Anyway, here on, just you can see things like this. Just players coming back, being like, hey, thanks for the ad. I'm an old Warlord player. And so that's why I want to make videos for posts like this. And here you can also get some daily card of the day posts that Miguel Silva is doing. Here's another player who's come back like, hey guys, looking to start playing. Where can I do some real cards? Don't worry, we'll be touching on that too. But here is kind of some general space where people will kind of come, and it's the first stop, I would say, is Facebook. If someone's building their own custom cube, some more card of the day, and then if you scroll far enough, you might even find some guy peddling his YouTube page and his Twitch. Check me out, twitch.tv/NirvanaTool. Same thing for YouTube. I'm assuming that's where you're watching this, so you don't need that link. Anyway, this is place number one. You'll get constant updates here, constant contact, and of course, you can always feel free to post, ask any questions yourself. The community is, for the most part, welcoming. Every community has a bunch of jerks, but they're loving jerks, I promise. It's one of those like, how could you ask such a silly question? Don't worry about those people. Most of the people aren't like that. We're all very friendly. And if we are like that, we're doing it in a loving way. So that is stop number one. Stop number two is Discord. Now we're starting to get with the times here. No more old Facebook platforms. So Discord server for Warlord CCG. I'm going to link in the description of this video where you can just any open link that won't expire that you can click to join Discord. If you don't have a Discord, you don't have a Discord account, then I can't really kind of help you there. I'm not going to do that on this video, but just go get a Discord account. That's your homework for this. I'll take care of everything else here, guys, but that's going to be your homework if you don't have one. But either way, click the link in the description of this video. It'll take you to Discord, and from here, you have a whole bunch of different channels that you can just surf and go to find out whatever you may need. Now, the thing about Discord is this is where our online tournaments are hosted. Any communication is done through this platform. And what you can kind of see is currently, this is December of 2022 when I am recording this. The current event is called Double Warlord December. And within it, you have a whole bunch of different channels, whether it's rules and info for the specific event that's currently happening. We don't have to go into the details here. We'll get to it. Don't worry. No need to pause the video. This is just some pairings. This is, just general discussion about the event, scheduling for people who want to do that. We'll get into that as well. Game discussion, just so anyone who's watching some of these games play, because that's the best part. You can watch people play Warlord. If you don't have the time to do it yourself, you can still, just pop in and be like, hey, some people playing Warlord, and they'll let you watch, no problem. So there's a whole bunch of different things that you can kind of see here, but these are kind of the events. Obviously, the first channels, as you come in, there's announcements that you'll see, whether it's, usually these are upcoming events, but in case there's anything else, you have the forum rules, of course, read that on your own time. General rule, just don't be a jerk, and have fun. Those are the 2 rules. Picking a faction, you can represent your faction pride here. As you can kind of see in the users on the left side here, you got people who, really like to show off what faction is their favorite. Lynn Hunter, look at that. She's an artist, and she drew a lot of elves, so she's a little biased. Then you have good old Free Kingdoms being represented. You got some mercenaries. Even the mercenaries weren't always a faction. And some people are a little special with, the Overlord, Dragon Lord, and Medusan Lord. Don't worry about those folks. Those are just people who kind of have extra Discord permissions to do things because, we do things like Dragon Lord. I do things like answer rules questions, which, speaking of which, there's another channel for that. If you wanted to dive in and you had a rules question, specific channel just for that, and this lives as, a reference to any other past rule. You can always kind of search out any keywords that you want. Like you can see, I was looking for August Gawk, Solstice Chant, Staff of Secrets, From Dust to Dust, Griffin. So I was looking for rulings on these, and that's kind of how I did it, just to kind of find that. There's some frequently asked questions covered here. This is the update to the Ancients format, which we'll get into as well. And then any kind of links to a full a full bibliography of erratum. Or they wrote erratum, which is singular. Errata is plural. That's what we're going to go with. There's channels for any class. If you're someone who really loves playing rogue stuff, you can just go into that and get some ideas. Encampments for each of the factions, where people are always talking about decks for that. Suggestions and feedback on any and all the things that we're going to show you here. Some miscellaneous stuff, obviously there's some off topic, there's other games. Obviously we know like Warlord, might be the game that we only care about here, but there's still a whole bunch of other, we like to do a whole bunch of stuff. So we can always, if you're just new to Warlord, but you want to start a conversation about Magic, we can do that. No problem. Movies, television, books and comics, memes, artworks. You can tell this is World Cup time. It's called soccer. So there you go. And then here is the voice chats. So these voice chats are where a lot of the communication for online games play. Because that's the thing. It's like, oh, you got to type out text. It's going to be hard to kind of talk about my moves if that's the case. Well, you can just join in a voice chat. Once you are messaging each other and it's just easier to kind of talk through and you want to go a little bit faster, you can do so by joining any one of these channels. They're all open. There's no limit to the number of things. There's an etiquette, of course. If there are people playing a tournament game and it's just 2 people in there, you usually don't want to jump in there and just disturb them. But it's not unheard of to jump in and be like, hey guys, I'm watching your game. Is it okay if I just listen on mute? And then, some people are cool with that. Some people are not. It's just, always kind of approach people with respect and respect will always be returned. That's kind of what we're going with here. But these are always, again, free to anyone to use. Just all you got to do is join this Discord server and all of this is open to you. And we'll get into a little bit more of the tournament stuff later. But again, reminder, link in the description. I promise I'm going to put it there. So just go with that. So that's step 1. These are where the communities are, Facebook and Discord. Now, where else can I get some information? And now, Discord being the main hub, like, where's your next step? Well, if I was to suggest a step, first let me get Discord out of the way, I would go to sagaofthestorm.com. This is a community-run website here that has a whole bunch of different resources that you can use. So let's just scroll through a little bit through here. So you can see top banner, you have the online Warlord Circuit, which is our monthly tournaments that are online, absolutely free to participate in and open to all. Each of them have their own set of rules, which you can find here on each of some individual event pages. Oh boy, I'm just going right to articles. Look at this. So this is what happens when you misclick. But either way, you have articles. There's not that many of them. I'm sorry. We need to do better at that. Events pages, this is where you can find any upcoming events. Some, in this case, it's the online ones. They give you all the details that you'll need on that. This was an in-person event that we ran here in the Garden State of New Jersey, baby. That's it on November 19th. You can check out some videos of in-person Warlord there, also on my page. You know, I'll just check out my, you know, YouTube page and all that good jazz, and you'll be able to see it. And then you can also see some of the past tournaments that we've played in, just so you can figure it out. Build a Warlord is a custom one. That gets crazy. You'll see that. Our Warlord Online World Championship comes around once a year. We had our Gen Con in-person events on here, a bunch of online circuit events, turncoat format, peasants format, the good, the bad, the ugly, and you're like, what are the rules for all these? Well, if you click on each one of these, you can find out. So you can find out all that information there on the events. The rules section here, this is just a web page version of the actual 4E rulebook, so you'll be able to get that. Decks, they have a few deck lists here that you're able to kind of go. I don't know how dated some of these are, and it's also based by edition. And this is going to be a good point in the video to kind of tell you what people play. So the most common format, because that's the thing, a lot of people played, whether you might have had your stint right when the game came out with AEG, you might have played something called Campaign Edition, Epic Edition, or you might have been, I only played the 4th edition when Phoenix Interactive took over, or you don't even know what you played. You just picked up a starter deck and played a game once a month with your buddy at the kitchen table. Like, that's totally fine. Don't worry about that. But whatever your comfort level is, there's usually events for them. But the main one that everyone plays is Ancients. And what Ancients means is, almost every card ever printed is legal, with the exception of some banned and restricted lists. So that's the most popular one that a lot of people ran. The Jersey event that we ran in person was that. Gen Con, all the tournaments were in that. Online tournaments, they shift. The formats change just to kind of keep things fresh on a monthly basis. But if you ever needed to find out what the Ancients rules are, you can find that under resources here. So there's a few other things too. You have a couple of shops if you want to get real cards, then you're free to do that. These are the 3 that you can check out. The Guardians of the Storm, you might see that running around. This is the Illuminati of Warlord, who has kind of kept this community running even after this game has been dead for so long. So that's the short version of that. But here you can kind of just see some of the things, the Discord, the Facebook, Accordlands, player locator map. So subreddit, if you want to go into that, some deck registration in case you need that. Tournament policies are coming soon. Now that IRL things, community content. Oh, look at this guy. You can check out his links there. Same with some more of my fellow content creators, Slyfox Live, Warlord Card Gamer, Josh King, and Wyvern. Special shout out to Slyfox and Wyvern. They do it regularly. Josh does it when he feels like it. Warlord Card Gamer's been slacking, though he does a whole bunch of other stuff, so you can check him out there. Slyfox also does a bunch of other stuff, but he does it in German, so go check that out if you're looking for that. Some Warlord history, some coming soon, some constructed formats. So the constructed formats is really what I wanted to get to here. We're going to have to update this. Look at this Untap tutorial video. Some of these are a little outdated. That's why I'm kind of doing this now. But you can find the constructed format here. And clicking on the Ancients, this will give you a full breakdown of what this format means. So if you're like, I've never heard of Ancients, is this Warlord? I don't know. You can come here and find everything. It's a limited open format with a few banned, restricted, and reserve lists. So there's a few clarities here just in terms of targeting. Then there's cards that are reserved. Now what reserved means is these cards cannot start and play. And you can see there's a few that I'm flashing on the screen real quick. Restricted means that you can only have 1 copy of these cards in your deck. So we have a few of these. Some cards are reserved and restricted in some cases, but that's what you got here. And then banned. Just flat out, you're not allowed to use these cards. This ban list has been mostly and historically used to stop very negative play experiences. So like the thing, if you were to play full open, there's a whole bunch of infinite combos that are very easy to pull off. There's a whole bunch of cards that just are way overpowered and shouldn't exist. So that's what the ban list takes care of. And then in some cases, it's just some, freshening up the meta as well. We've been doing that a little bit of late. Like, let's put a card on the ban list. And this is a living, breathing update that happens at least once a year. Sometimes a little bit more often if something is required. So this has been going on. We've been, I would say for the most part, we've been very light-handed in changing this, because the ultimate mantra of this community is we want to be able to play the cards we have. So you have that. There's a few change logs and some MRPs that you can check here, but visit this page and you'll be able to get a crash course in Ancients. So that is that. I think now, also there's other things. You can contact some people. Feel free to reach out here to any of these fine things, and people will follow up with you. Or you can even just send me, leave a comment here. I'll respond to it. And then, I'll be happy to talk Warlord with any of y'all. It's all good. So this is now the site where you can get some information. You now know Discord, which you can also get some information, and Facebook as well. So you're able to kind of communicate. But what do you play on? So that I will introduce you to Untap. Now, let me just do a little thing right here, and bam. So untap.in is a free online platform for various card games. There's a lot of Magic the Gathering on here. I think I saw One Piece TCG on here. There's a few other dead games on here that anyone can really play. But this platform has worked out for the community as well. There is Warlord on Tabletop Simulator, but given that's a pay software, it's something that we haven't done here. Untap does have a paid option where you can support them on Patreon. It's really just to kind of help them keep the lights on. I do that just to kind of help them out. I mean, without their platform, I wouldn't have these videos that I have. So I like to give a shout out to these guys. They also have their own Discord where you can even talk to them and suggest some updates, some enhancements, and they've been receptive to the Warlord community on that. So shout out to all the guys out there at Untap. Thank you for making this all possible. So here, it's a completely web-based platform. You don't have to install anything. You don't have to download anything. You literally just go to untap.in and this pops up. I already have it up here. So you can kind of see I have my username here, but I'm logged out because I said I did the Patreon support. And if you do that, that's awesome. But for your experience on this video, I want to just show you the full things, including creating a new account, just so we can see it. So this might be a little rough, but we're going to go through it. So you can either log in just straight with a Discord name, or you can log in with an email, or just log in general. But let's go with creating an account. Let's do it up. So you could log in with Discord. I'm not going to do that just in case. I don't even know what's going to happen. So, but let's create an account with an email address. Let's just say Warlord is awesome. That's the username. Email, I'm going to do my unorgplay@gmail.com. Or I got Organized Play is a group of my friends who play online, so shout out to them as well. As you can see, representing this with the shirt. Or now you can kind of, that's the shirt I'm wearing. But let's just throw that out there. And password, I'm not going to say this out loud, so I'm just going to throw that out there. Let me just show some terms and services. Yep, you all just read that too? Great, we read it together. There's now video proof that I read that. Let's register. Username is too long, maximum 14. Let's just go Warlord Awesome. How about that? Authentication success. Here we go. And I'm sure you might get an email to that. There might be an email waiting at unorgplay@gmail.com, but I don't know. Don't matter to me. We are in, and this is what you're going to see right away. They also have some video tutorials on how to do decks, so feel free to kind of check that out if you want. But this will be the first thing you see. You have a limit of 10 decks that you can create on here, and we'll go and create a deck here. But first, I want to just show you what it's like just to play. So like the first thing you'll see here is like, what is all this? So these are all open games. Unfortunately, it's filtered by every single game possible. So in order to make sure you only see Warlord games, you got to create a new filter. So let's try and type in Warlord, or let's try WSS. So Warlord Saga the Storm. I don't see that here. I don't think there's any games. No games match my filter. What is this? Okay. So I clearly need to fix this and find a way to do that. But you know what? I think I know how I can make this happen. First, let's create a deck. Let's do that first. So this shows you all the possible games that we have here. And you can see, like, this is unscripted. I'm just kind of going in. It defaults to Magic, but you have Warlord Saga the Storm down here. Just look for Torin Yeskar. Good card. You got Final Fantasy, TCG, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Flesh and Blood, Doomtown, 7th Sea. Shout out to those guys, fellow dead AEG games. But you have a whole bunch of ones here. So let's go to Warlord CCG and let's create a deck. Please. Oh, this is the deck name. Oh, deck time. This is a title. Oh, I couldn't spell title right. How about that? Boom. Creating a deck. So this is what it kind of looks like. There's import from URL and there's a paste deck. So you can just, if you have the deck in a certain format, you can just paste it online. And I'm actually going to pause the Untap tutorial in order to show you another site, because this is the part where it's going to be very useful for you, and that's how you can build your deck. There's an online builder that you can do that. You might have saw it when we were at this site, but it is called the Accordlands, and it is simple as theaccordlands.com. So once you go here, I'm on the, oh boy, let me go to the symbol thing. This will be the first thing you see. It's just right now, this is an online database to search for any and every card that in Warlord that has ever been created. You can find it. And so you have options. So let's say your Warlord, your first Warlord, who's going to be the best Warlord? Oh, of course, we got to go Krun. Good old Nothrogs. So you type in Krun, you can find every single card with Krun's name in it. He's got his standard, he's got his strategies. You might remember all that, but there is Krun you remember. But wait a minute, that Krun, that's the campaign edition Krun. I don't remember that Krun. Like, the Krun I had was a pig face guy. This is kind of like an orc guy. So if you wanted to see that, over here in this little information here, which has the card text name, it also shows you what sets they came in. You can click on that Saga Storm one, and there's the Krun that you know and love, right from the original demo decks, baby. Well, actually, no, the original demo decks had a flag for the fighter, but, you know, either way. And I think he had 4 hit points. I wish. But this is where you can find that. So let's say we wanted to build a Krun deck. Boom. Add to build. And now on the side, and this is only available in, on desktop version. There is no mobile deck builder. You know, maybe in the future, hopefully by the time, if you're watching this in the future, it may have already have some mobile capability, but unfortunately you can't do that. You can still search through the database on your phone, no problem. So if you want to do it that way, but if you wanted to build a deck that can be exported or what have you, you go through here. So let's say Krun, and now we need to, find some good Nothrogs to put in this deck. Okay, so let's say if you know the name, you can just stay on this little simple one right here, type it in and go. But let's say you're like, I don't know. I don't remember any Nothrog characters. Well, the advanced filter is what you want. You can slice the cards by anything you want. So let's say you wanted all Nothrog characters that were level 1, because I need to start building out my starting army first. So let's go with all Nothrogs that were level 1. And then down here, there's even a format you can do it. So it's default to be open because it wants to show you as much as possible. But if we're building a deck for Ancients, we got to do that. And all of these options for 4E, Campaign, Epic, Saga. So they all these formats have the rules engine set into the filter. So all you have to do is just set it and you're good to go. So let's look at every level 1. Level equals 1. I can do even less than, actually. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do every level 2 or lower Nothrog to see. That way we'll be able to get a starting army. So you can search. It does its thing and pops back out the information. And now you can kind of see, I can zoom in a little bit just so, oh no, that zooming in was really bad. Let me not do that again. But you can always click on that and now see good old Akvuk. I remember him. He hits hard. He may not be competitive in terms of a top tier card, but you know what? I want 3 of him in my deck. He's got a big old axe and he inflicts wounds. I love it. So boom, back to search. Let's start going. Albino Novice. Once he dies, he makes my next roll a critical success. Yeah, I want him in here. And then this is all presented in alphabetical order. So as you're scrolling through, Ballistic Crew, you remember that? He used to kill Brine Fiends. Absolutely, I want him. Let's put 3 of him in there. So you can keep going through, and then, again, this is all in alphabetical order. Kargrag, very good card. I'll just put him in here. This is way too many characters for a Krun deck, but you know what? We're going to do it anyway. And if you don't recognize anything, again, you can click on it to open it up and then click right back to return to search, and you're able to see it. Let's throw in some Durga. Yeah, let's throw in... Oh, Gunda. That's pretty good. Let's just do that. And I love how I'm just building a deck on this tutorial. I am not putting much thought into this, guys. This is Nothrogs here. They smash, they hurt. Let's put Lorik in, and then let's put some Mangonel. Oh, wait, hold on, no. You know what? I'll put one Mangonel in, but I am not leaving out my man Mudfleck. Good old Mudfleck. So there we go. We got 25 characters in here, including our Warlord Krun. So we've already got that, but now it's like, okay, I need some actions and items, though, in order to support my guy Krun. How's he going to win? So, all right, I need some items first. So first, in the card type here, you can actually specify that, whether it's an action, battlefield. Some of that, you guys might be confused by that. Same with dungeons and epic class. Don't worry about that. Actions, items, and characters are still, for the most part, these standard card types. Dungeons, for the most part, is something, but it was for a small, brief time. Anyway, let's see. I need items, and I need fighter items for Krun. And then if I want to even go further, I need steeds, because Krun needs to be able to get to the front rank. So let's search in traits. You can literally start typing in, I remember the steed trait. That's what I need. So any fighter steeds, and then got to make sure that they're ancients legal. Let's pop it up. Boom. And here they all are our options. And look at this. We even have treasure cards. Remember those? Don't worry. When you play online, nobody can steal your digital card. So treasures are cool. Let's add in some chariots. Ooh, I added one too many. And I can always take it out and build. And as you can see, it separates them, this little card builder. We already have 25 characters. Now we got 3 items. And we know the minimum count for cards in a deck is 50. So that's what we're going to aim for. Griffin and Masir, very classic card. I love it. Let's put it in. Kringle's Sleigh? Yeah, let's throw one of those in. Noble Steed? Yeah, why not? Let's throw 3 of those in. Who's some other cool steeds that we got here? Dark Horse? Yeah, let's throw that in. Ooh, Tranquility? Why not? Let's make let's make Krun Planner. Warhorse, I like it. And then Wyvern Steed. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I already got 20 cards. I only got room for 5 actions, let's say. And I'm only doing this just for the sake of things. Like, you know, you can search for, like, if you wanted to see anything else. Like, if you wanted to search weapons, because Krun might need something. If you want trait list, you don't even have to put traits. You know, that's totally fine. You can just say any fighter items. And you can even specify the level. You can specify a whole bunch of other various, you know, filters that you need. If something has a feat, you can make sure that's all there. But anyway, so let's just go fighter actions. You know what? I already know which fighter actions I want. I want the good old Bloodthirsty, giving more strikes to Krun. Let's just get those in there. And then last but not least, other strike generator for Krun. That'll be some no prisoners. Let's just get that in. Boom, boom. Real quick. All right, cool. Deck has now been built. So it's not a great deck, but it's a deck. And now it's in here. It's ready to go. It's 50. And again, if you ever need help building a deck, reach out to the communities on Discord or Facebook. People are always willing to bounce ideas off of you and show you along. You know, some of us like me have played this game for so long that, you know, it's all just ingrained in our head. So don't be shy in asking. So there's now a few options now that the deck is built. So first things first, if we wanted to do the online option like we were talking, we click this little save button right here. Boom. Let's click it. And now you see on the bottom on my browser, it opened up and downloaded a WordPad. So let me just show that. Well, it's not showing on my screen, but that'll give you a Word file that you will be able to now just copy and paste in a text format. So I'm not going to, unfortunately, it's not showing on the screen, so, and I don't want to kind of mess up this thing, but I have the file open here, and I am now copying it as is, and now I'm going to take us back to Untap so that we can go and paste this bad boy in. So first, paste deck, and there's a few options here. If you wanted cards to start and play, cards to start in sideboard, hand, token, discard, expel, face down pile, what have you. So if there are some weirdness, you can do that, but Here, paste deck. So I've already highlighted it from the Word format. Just paste it. And that's how they gave it to you. 3 of this, boom, 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 all in alphabetical order. And you can import the cards. They are now in your deck. Now, we all know with Warlord, everybody has a starting army. So you can now move this around and see what's going to be in play right from here. So first thing, of course, is Krun. We know we want to do that. Well, first of all, can we change that? Okay, no. Some cards do have the option to change the set if they have alternate arts. So just a kind of FYI there. You can do that by that. But otherwise, if you wanted to move cards, you just literally click on the card, move to play, and now it's up here. It now starts in play. Gunda's pretty good for a level 1 Nothrog. We're going to start with that. So that'll be our level 1. And then for level 2... let's go with Ballista Crew. Well, now here's the thing I need to show. So move to play. I am running 3 Ballista Crew, but I can only start 2 of them because you can only have 3 level 1s and 2 level 2s. So the way to kind of fix that is you can, these little plus and minus arrows right next to them, you can click on those to increase or decrease the quantity of the card. So I'm going to just drop this down. So now we have a legal starting army. Krun starting with 3 Gunda and 2 Ballista Crew. But now it's showing you 49 cards, 20 unique cards in your deck. So like right here, you have 6 cards starting in play, 3 are unique. Same here, 43. So I have an illegal deck. I need to add that extra Ballista Crew back in. So in order to do that, and this is another way you can build. If you don't want to build on Accordlands, or you want to start on Accordlands and then start managing some things here just based off your memory, that's kind of how I do it. You can do so. So all you have to do is type in Ballista, just start putting Ballista Crew, and then it'll pull up a search function in the database. And you can see it right here. Ballista Crew, yep, this card looks good. That art looks great there. So let's click on it. Let's add to deck. And by default, it adds in 3 copies of it. So now, we got 52. We have 501 card. Simply just boom, boom, drop it down. So you'll have 2 entries for Ballista Crew. 2 are starting and then 1 in the deck. But this might look how the old deck list used to be in real life. So it might be a little bit better for you guys there. So once that's in there, this little arrow, this little exclamation point right here, you can kind of click on that, and there's a few things. You can either save the deck, you have deck options, you can change the sleeves of the deck. We won't kind of get into any of these features, but if you wanted to give the Warlord card back, you can do that. But otherwise, just Untap has a perfectly fine and functioning card sleeve. But once you start getting into it and starting to want to show off some flair, by all means, you can take any image and add it as a card sleeve. You can do a whole bunch of different things, import from URL, download a deck, what have you. But let's just, for now, go to deck options. So this is the title. You can add a description if you want. Cover image. So you can, it's not showing right here on the screen. I'm sorry. But if you click on the deck options, it brings up a menu that you should be able to kind of see every single card in your deck. You can just literally select their art. So right now I selected Krun. Again, I apologize. I don't know why it wasn't being captured. It's very weird. Anyway, I just made the cover image Krun. Close out. Let's hit save. And then boom. You can now see that I have a good old Krun deck right here, ready to play. So let's say I now wanted to start a game with this. So right here, we have play and watch, what have you. But if you wanted to start a new game, you do new game. You will need to validate your account before you can create a game. Head over to the account tab to validate. SpaghettiOs. You might run into this error. This is why we did it like this, so I can show you the actual thing. So I have, Warlord Awesome over here. Let's see, where can we find how to validate here? Click here to resend. Your email address has not been validated. Okay, so you said you had to validate it. You really do have to validate it. How about that? So I'll just kind of plug some other stuff, while I'm going through this, because, I just need to do this. But, again, we have monthly tournaments going on through Discord. So feel free to do that. But this is the platform that they'll be played on as well. I have successfully validated my account. So we should be good now. Let me just make sure. Let's go new game. Okay, so I might have to refresh a little bit. Good old refresh. Log me back in. We're on Discord. Why not join us? Oh, look, they have a little ad. How about that? That's cute. All right. Now my game is good to go. So, creating a new game. You do the title thing. Testing stream. You can tell that I've used this to do that. Let's see. Warlord Solitaire. Let's just do that. So, play style, you can label the game however you want. Most people just kind of leave it as beginner as the default, but if you want to be super competitive and let you know I'm playing a hardcore deck that I really want to try out, you can do that. Optimize, I don't even know. Relax, janky, those are pretty, just to give a little hint of, what the people should expect there. You can choose the number of players. There is a multiplayer option on Untap. Sometimes we do that. Obviously, Warlord traditionally one-on-one. But if you want to see multiplayer, check out some of my other videos here. I do film some multiplayer games as well. But let's go solo just so you can kind of see it. And I kind of recommend using this solo play just so you can kind of get used to it at first and just play around. And then once you're comfortable, feel free to jump in with a friend or anybody really on the Discord, and everyone will kind of help you out with the functions of this. But you can see like a deck versus deck is in beta option. You can see enable mirror player. So enable mirror player kind of comes up. Basically what that is on a solitaire board, you're going to have your cards on the one board, and there's going to be a mimic of the exact thing that you're doing on the opposite end, just to kind of make it look like it's two players. That's all that means. So you can toggle it on and off as you want. No big deal. Let's turn it off for now. Actually, just in case you guys will see it, let's just start the game. So we are going to load Warlord so I can see the game has been created. Warlord Solitaire. I'm in it. 2 of 1 players. I'm going to enter the game. As soon as I enter, it asks me to choose my deck. Luckily, I got just this one Krun deck. So I click on it, and then boom. Right away, it loads up all of my starting army. And you can now click and drag any of the cards over. And you can see this is like the mirror version. It's going to just do an exact copy. So let's just say this is what it was like when you were getting all the cards onto the table. And you can use this literally. It's just drag your mouse over, click on it, hold it down, drag it over. So you can kind of set up your ranks exactly how you would in Warlord. And now look at that. They are like perfectly mirrored. We have a Krun versus Krun mirror match. There is going to be a lot of wounding going on. So this is how they set up. I'm actually going to, as you can see right now, I'm kind of hanging out here in the bottom right corner of the screen. I'm going to go and hide myself because I am blocking just a little bit of it. And I want to show you guys some things. But first I need to find where my camera is so I can hide myself. Bye-bye. There we go. So right here in the corner, I don't know why my mouse cursor isn't being captured. So this is what happens when you kind of mess things up and you're like, hey, I'm going to just do a video and hope everything goes right. But whatever, it's all right. So anyway, usually the mouse cursor gets captured. But on the bottom right there where it says 44, you're able to, okay, here it goes. Now it's showing up. Who knows? Anyway, these are where you can to view your deck. You have 44 cards in your deck. It will always tell you how many you have left. You can simply draw 5. You can draw a whole bunch of things. But let's start just getting our opening hand. It'll always start with draw at default 5, just because that's your opening hand. You draw 5 cards at the beginning of every turn, and there we go. It's even showing us the opponent's hand. Normally, these cards will be face down for the opponent. You won't be able to see the opposing hand. But you get to see yours all down here. So these are the 5 cards in hand. And now, if you wanted to draw more cards again, draw 1. Boom. I just drew an extra card. You can do that. So as these cards are in hand, what you can do is you can click on it, send to play, and it'll go right into play. And you can drag it all you want. Or you can simply just drag and drop as well. Whichever is more comfortable for you. There are various hotkeys as well, and I'll show you that over here. This little toolbar on the side is where you'll find most of the information you'll need. So the hotkeys, show them up on the screen. I won't spend too much time here, but you're able to kind of quickly take a look at this. There's ways to shake cards. There's ways to show where you're targeting. There's ways to flip cards face down. There's ways to easily discard. There's ways to easily draw a card. So all that is there. Feel free to use those as needed. So we have cards in hand, we have cards in play, whatever. So first thing, of course, if you're going to play Warlord after you draw your hand, is how do we roll initiative? Well, one of these options over here, the very next thing right above the hotkeys, this is the die roller. You click on this and you have options. You can roll D6, D10, D20, or the D question mark is any custom dice. You can flip a coin. You can do whatever. You can go custom. So right here, just rolling the D20, it just shows you Warlord Awesome has rolled a D20 and rolled a 14. So then, like, let's say my opponent rolled just for fun. Oh, look at that. They rolled a 12. But, you know, this is the die roller that you would use. Warning to the wise, just put some time in between. Like, if you try and spam some of the die rollers, sometimes you get, like, back-to-back rolls or it might lag out. So we might be a little superstitious here because, you know, I mean, if you're a Warlord player, you know that. We always are worried that our dice aren't working properly. So just be careful of that. Just a quick FYI. But otherwise, let's say I want initiative. I want to take my first action. So I want to, you know, just like any other Warlord game. Well, actually, I want to use my Ballista crew and just, you know, let's start with Gunda. It's easier. Let's say Gunda wants to do a melee strike. You can simply click on it and then you have a few options here. So shaking is literally just, this is a way to kind of draw attention while you're talking to somebody. Like, hey, I mean this card. This is what I want. So that you can easily do that. Invert, we'll get into that. Usually you probably won't even need it. Adding counters. So if you want to add wound counters or whatever, you are free to just do that. You can add a counter. This little symbol is here. So you can left click to increase it by 1, or you can right click to decrease it. So if you want to use this for wound counters, like let's say Gunda gets wounded, and you react once per turn before Gunda suffers or wounds, gains +5 attack and an HP, and +1 level until the end of the turn. So now he has 2. So there you go. He has 1 wound, and you know he has 2 HP. This is. And if you want to also represent the 5, you can even add another counter, and just 5. So boom. However you want to mark this, as long as it's clear to your opponents, that's what we suggest. So you're free to do that. But let's say Gunda wanted to swing. So all you have to do is just double click just to tap them. So you can do that. Or you can just click that and then this little first option right here, that also taps them. So you can do that. You might be like, what's this pivot thing? So this pivot does come up every now and then. Let's go. If you unpivot, it just does that way. So you can do it like that, but I always recommend just doing this. Now with Warlord, there's a few different orientation. Cards aren't just tap. Sometimes cards stun. Like let's say I wanted to use my Ballista crew to eat a Gunda like I would. So instead, you can click on this and there's this second option. So instead of going, you know, a quarter of the way around, you can go, you know, instead of 90 degrees, you can go 180 degrees. Boom. So now that's how you can stun. And if you have, let's say you had a spent character and then they stun, you can do the same thing here. Just boom. Options there, and then move them back to stun. You can do that. So that's how that works. So like, let's say Krun wanted to move forward. Well, first, Krun wants to have his little griffin. And this is where you can just verbally communicate to your opponent saying, hey, this card goes on Krun. Traditionally, you'll see a lot of people just put their Warlord items in the top left or the top right. And then also you'll notice that I only have 3 ranks. What if I wanted to play a level 4? Well, let's just pretend this guy's a level 4. Or actually, I can show you another feature here. Insert card or token. So let's say you wanted to bring a card into play, just any random thing, just in case you want it. So a level 4 Nothrog, Nemtok. I remember him. So you can just search it out. You'll find it, and it'll even show you a little preview on the right side. You just click on it, put him into play. Boom. He's in play. I can even drag into my hand. Oh, he disappears because he's only a card token. So let me see if I just put it into hand here. Boom. That's how you can kind of do that here. So card has been randomly inserted into hand. And this little chat log over here on the right side, that shows you everything that's happening. So you're able to kind of just always have a log in case you want to scroll back and see what happened. In case you forgot, you're able to as well. But good old Nemtok, if I wanted to play him in 4, traditionally, a lot of people here online will just kind of put it over here. So like the 4th rank starts here, then like that would be the 5th rank, that'll be the 6th rank. And then if you're dropping dragons, who knows, we'll just do a 7th rank. So that's kind of just the etiquette that everyone's doing. But of course, as long as the golden rule, as long as it's clear to you and your opponent, you can Feel free to do as you see fit. So we can get Nemtok out of there. He just disappears. And that's the thing with tokens. You can kind of, you'll see a lot of token generation on this. And that's just one thing. Like the game is good at cleaning them up. But other things too tend to kind of make it, you can always clone a copy of a card. So click on this, clone card. So boom. And now you have an exact copy of a card. And then if you were to put it in the discard pile by just dragging it over there, it just vanishes because tokens don't go to the discard pile. The clone feature will come into play for cards like Mass Blessing traditionally. So I can just kind of pull that. Oh, I just inserted a counter, which is also another feature we'll get to in a sec. But I don't want to jump the gun. Insert card token. So Mass Bless. Let's say let's say that Krun was a cleric and I played Mass Blessing. So you can put that into play. And, you know, this is just order, target one rank in your army until the end of the turn. All characters gain attack and an AC bonus equal to the cleric's level in that rank. So let's say Krun was a level 5 cleric. You can just note that, hey, the bonus of this effect is 5. You clone the card so that it is now an exact copy. And then you drag the original card to your discard pile. Because that's the thing. When you play an action like Mass Blessing, technically the card goes in your discard pile. But if you need a reference to know that there's a bonus, I mean, in real life, people might put a dice on the table just to kind of say, hey, here's a 5 on there just to kind of mark it. So there's ways to do this here, you know, different ways to kind of do it here on the board. So rank 1, I have a Mass Blessing. You know, you can just kind of do it like that. So that way the card's in the discard pile and you know, it's over here. Obviously, I'm just putting in fake cards here, so it's not going to work. Hotkeys, too. If I wanted to hover over this card and just type the D button, it just deletes the card. So, and just moves it to the discard pile. If you want to just draw a card, all you have to do is hit C, and that will prompt to draw a card. There we go. And you can obviously scroll over any card to have it pop up on the right side there. You can even in settings adjust the size of that image in settings. So in-game snap cards to grid, card orientation is clear and natural. Like, so here we go. Card preview size, you can toggle it to be bigger or smaller, however you want. So let's say I want it small. So now you can see the image is a little smaller, but you can hit these settings however you want. I like to go large, just obviously I stream games, so via Twitch. So I like to make it as clear as for the audience as possible. So getting as much of the screen is what I want to do. So, and that's pretty much it. You know, you play cards. Krun's going to move up with a Griffin. You know, Krun's going to get a Dark Horse, discard that Griffin. Krun's going to come up. Krun's going to swing. Krun's going to play no prisoners. Krun's going to roll some D20s and kill some guys. So you can do all things like that. You know, your guys come in. Lorix now here. Weird that my opponent drew the exact same hand, and then that's it. End of turn, I can just discard or keep however many cards I want. And then once I now have all these cards out of my hand, it now defaults to draw 5. So just be careful with that. If you have no cards in your hand and then someone plays like immediately in, make sure that you're not accidentally drawing 5. But you can do it like that. So let's say next turn is coming. You want to untap everybody, right? So normally you're like, oh, it might be a while if I want to untap everybody. And, you know, so you can see like Ballistic Crew just went from ready. So you got to be careful there. If let's say everybody was tapped, let's just say, because, you know, you're being a good Nothrock player and you're attacking with everybody, right? So let's just say that was how you were at the end of the turn, including all your items. There is a button to untap all. So boom. You do that and untaps. The only thing it doesn't do is anyone who is stunned. It leaves them like that. So hopefully you don't have too many of those. But if you do, you can just manually double click and it'll keep changing it. Or of course, remember, you can always just pivot or unpivot, whatever it may be. So you have all that options here. So just like, you know, a lot of these controls are easy enough. Let's see. So untap all, I've showed that. Draw on play area, you can literally just use that. Just saying, here we go. Just try and right high. We've obviously never drawn on this, so I don't know. I would not recommend using that, but just in case you want, you can. Let's say you're playing somebody and they don't have voice. They're not in the Discord. Like, what do you do? Well, there's these two buttons right here, the alert no response and the alert response. So in case you ever wanted to stop somebody, you can just trigger that. Or if you target somebody, like let's say, you know, Gunda's swinging at this Gunda. So a way you can do that is Gunda attacks, target source, click on whatever you want, and it's showing that, like, it's a little weird because it's in mirror mode, but it draws an arrow. These cards are targeting these people. And then the person can be like, all right, cool, no response. Go ahead and swing. Okay, cool. I roll in I rolled a natural 20. Look at that. So, you know, things like that. That's just ways. These tools are here just so you can communicate. Insert play counter. This little counter comes here in case you wanted to have any other kind of reminder as well. You're free to use it as this. I've seen this used a lot in cases in multiplayer games. You can use this to use table, but let's say if you wanted to mark, you know, what is your current AC? If you were playing King Zod, who's going to have 800 items equipped, and everyone do that. So you can always just change the label. Let's just say this is my AC. And then it works the same way as other counters too. You can left click them to increase them. You can right click to decrease them. So you can just go, let's just say my AC 23. So you can always keep this here as a reference to the side in case your opponent's always going to ask or whatever it may be. You're free to customize these as you want. You can change the color. I want my AC to be hot pink. You are good to go. If you want it, you know, periwinkle blue, go for it. I don't actually know if that's periwinkle blue. That's just a light blue. Might be periwinkle. I don't know. I don't understand color theory. I only understand Warlord and how to make videos. And how to just fill those videos with absolutely no substance. But anyway, this is the game. And, you know, that's pretty much it. Toggling a lobby. You can just go and check back the lobby if you really wanted to. And then just re-enter the game. Simple as that. And the game is just how it was when you left. Game menu. Finish game and leave. Right before you leave, this is how you would exit. Last but not least, thing I want to show here. This is where you have to do anything with your deck. You can just click on the deck, and then these are the options you see here. I'm sorry that my little music thing is kind of blocking. But I like to give credit to the guy who's doing music. So shout out to Alexander Nakarada here. But you have the few options here. Let me just hide that. That's really annoying. Apologies for that, guys. There we go. So let's say you wanted to do anything. If you want to draw to your discard, like somebody is making you discard the top card of your deck, you have the option. Someone wants to remove the top card of your deck. That's what the expel is. Or if you want to put it into like a face down pile, you can. You have options on where it goes. If you want to put it into play face down, you can do that. And let's say I wanted to put the top 2 cards into the discard. You can do that. Click that. And then there it goes. They all showed up there, and you can kind of see in the log here. Warlord Awesome has drawn Lorik and Mangonel. I lost 2 characters. That's unfortunate. So that's how that works. Let's say good old... I want to show this guy. Good old Torn Yeskar. One of the best cards ever printed. This guy, if you have him in play, you can once per turn discard a card to look at your top 5 cards of your deck and pick one of those and then return them in the same order. So how do you do that? That'll be a common question. Click on this, and there's a peep function. Sounds very dirty. I promise you it's not. So you can either click on this number here and then type in how many you want to look at, like 5, or you can just use these little arrows here, left and right, to go up to 5 or however down you ever want to go. So you're free to do that. And then you will see that it pops up and it shows you top 5 cards over here. So you can see that Durga's the next card, then Ballistic Crew, No Prisoners, Noble Steed, Wyvern Steed. Well, let's just say I want No Prisoners. So you can just kind of click on that and drag it to your hand, and boom, it's there. Or, you know, you can always drag it back to the right place. Just be careful. Obviously, don't put things in the way. Oops. it comes back face down. So make sure before you grab a card, you absolutely want it. Or at least it's returning in the right order. You know this is No Prisoners. You can just kind of drag that one to hand. So let's just say we took that. And then you can X out of this and all the cards. Once a card's in hand, that's how you know it's already been done. So, all right. And that's how you peep. You can kind of see it still shows you the top card there, but, you know, you can just, you know, I don't know how to flip top. I don't really know how to hide it. But either way, the top card will always be visible once you kind of do that. So I guess it's just kind of a note for information. But let's just say you wanted to search your deck for a specific card. I had something that says search for a steed and go do it. You can go find a card, and everything's in alphabetical order with multiple copies. So this will show you how many you have left in your deck while ever looking. So you can use this little bar on the bottom just to drag across and see and grab whatever you want. All these cards are here. We all know what these cards are. So, you know, if you wanted to say, I wanted an albino novice, I was just searching for it. You click on that, send card to hand, play, discard, expel, face down pile, deck top, deck bottom. You have options to do that. So I'm going to say, let's just put them on the deck top. Let's click on that. Boom. So you can close out of that. You can already see that it's already there. And it should all be good to go. But let's say it wasn't. Well, you can flip the top card, and now you can see. Oh, there it is. Let me flip that back down. Oh, no, it already shows. It doesn't do that. Once you've showed it, it's there. But then you can, like, draw to discard. There it goes. It goes away. And that's the format. Again, not perfect. It'll take some learning. Whenever you're finished, if you want to restart the game, scoop deck. You can do that and then scoop all cards to deck. And everything resets. All the cards that were in play get shuffled back into your deck. The cards that you start with in play are still there. And you're kind of there. You can always do this to kind of shuffle. So you'll see some people doing that just out of superstition. And then that's pretty much it. If you're playing a fun game, you want to change to a different deck, you just click on that. And obviously we only have the one deck built, but more options would appear right here and you'll be able to click on them and do what you got to do. And that's pretty much it. Finding a game of Warlord, if you really wanted to, I would suggest, again, these are right here. There's a way to kind of filter by all now Warlord Saga the Storm games, because now that you've loaded up a game, that'll all be there currently. Doesn't look like anyone's playing or doing anything. But what you could do, and first let me get this back up and running. Hey, I'm back, guys. Look at that. Let's go back to this, and then let's show you Discord again. If you wanted to ever see or wanted a game, there's a looking for a game chat right here in Discord in this channel. Well, under Warlord CCG right here, you can always click on that, and you can see a whole bunch of people. Even a little earlier today, December 11th, 2022, Graham was looking for someone to play Ancients. People were looking to play some Classy, which is a fun format. But there's always someone here. So if you ever wanted to find a game, just start in there. Game, ? Enter, and you're good to go. I'm not going to do that because people will be like, wait, what? Vax playing games? Yes, I'll play it. I'm not doing that. I'm making videos, folks. So that's pretty much it. And again, you can see all the different types of online tournament formats. They happen once a month. They usually rounds will run for a 48-hour round. So basically, when pairings are announced, let me see if they have the one from the last one. Because the one that we're kind of running right now is a little weird. Okay, cool. I can see this old one down here. This won't be public to all you people, but I can be able to see that. So in the August Build a Warlord format, here we go. We have the rules. We have Warlords, whatever. We have the general, which is, look at this. You thought it was going to be bad. It's not. Good old gifts. I love it. But pairings, match reporting, what have you. So let's say pairings are up. So normally if you entered a tournament, let's say you built a deck, you're ready to go, you want to be in a monthly tournament. You can find the details on sagathestorm.com, events. Upcoming events. Well, they currently only have the December one. They'll have the January one up soon. You guys actually cannot see anything because this is blocking. Look at that. But let's say, okay, let's just pretend. Let's go to that August ball one. There we go. Build a Warlord online circuit. So this event here, you can click on that, and all the details are here. Entry for these events are always free. Don't worry about that. Sign-ups. Contact @Wesley on Discord with your deck list and deck order between Friday. The deck order, don't worry about that. That's from a different format. He copy and pasted old text. But it gives you the dates of, you know, when you can start submitting deck lists. And that's the thing. That little Word document, or just what you can do from the Untap button, you know, just from within Untap. Let me actually now just jump on back there. From Untap, what you can do is click on your deck list, click on these little arrows, and download a deck. And you can download it to a text file with set IDs or without. Either way, you can do that. And then boom, you know, you get your deck list. So now you have it downloaded. You can always just highlight, copy, paste, and send it to @Wesley in Discord. So that's one way to do it. Let's get back to that page there. So just showing you that deck lists are due. And Wesley is supposed to check them for legality. So if he ever notices anything's a little out of touch, and he'll be there to help you out. So don't worry about it. And then these are just some details of the rules. Like, hey, these cards are specifically banned for this event. Here's some specific rules. Like, what is Build a Warlord? What you have to do. Build a Warlord is a fun one, guys, but I'm not going to get into it on this one because that could be its own video. But this is where you would find all the event information. And it's like, all right, cool. I needed to sign up by this date. So just by this date, I need to make sure I do it. But you can see from Friday, August 12th to Sunday, August 28th is when this ran. And events go up, pairings go up at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Or actually 9 p.m. I think it's Central time. Yeah, so they usually go up around that time. These times are usually subject times. Okay, here we go, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So you'll see in the Discord once the event starts, boom, that pairings will be announced in the pairings thing. And you'll be able to kind of click on this little image. It's very small. Let's zoom in. I can't zoom. But either way, you know, there's images here of who plays what. And all these people's usernames are here. Like Sanjington is here playing Wyvern. Midge is playing Gracchus the Old. So you basically look for your name on here and just see who is where. Sometimes it's multiple screenshots, so if you can't see that, just keep pulling it up until you find your name. I still don't see my name. I don't remember who I played round 1 for this event. Where was I? I was probably in the first one. Oh, there I go. I was playing Slugman. There we go, Chris Vack. But you look for your name, find out who it is. All right, Slugman? Well, that's who I need to send a message to. So then I would look to see who's offline. You know, Slugman, unfortunately, is just Josh K. That's how I know this. Feel free to reach out with Josh with anything. He is one of the pillars of our community. So, and as you can see, he's red. He's a Medusan Lord. So feel free to bother him at any and all things you want. He has some, if you need some real cards, he can actually hook you up with that too. But you would just, you know, click on their username here in just what kind of users, find them, send them a message on Discord, and then just start talking to them. It's like, hey, we're paired up for round 1. What's your schedule looking like? When can you play the game? And you'll have 48 hours to complete your round. All you'll have to do is just, it doesn't matter when, but time limit for the rounds will be an hour and a half. You can play best of 3 games in that time. Typically for online, we give it a little bit more time. Usually in-person Warlords, it was always 15 minutes. It was always 45-minute rounds. Here online, because of using the platform and people getting used to it, it's an hour and a half. So they just do that just to be a little bit more slow, or not to intentionally be slow, but to make sure that everyone's able to complete their games to the best of their abilities. I'd say this time limit has kind of worked out for everybody, but that's how long you'd have to play. So you just find a hour and a half slot that you can play your opponent. Of course, we're playing with everybody all over the world. Sometimes time zones don't exactly match up, so just make sure whenever you're communicating with your opponent, you're telling them where you're from, just so you know what their time zone is, and you guys are speaking the same time. And then set a time, and then just communicate through Discord. Start up a game on Untap. Jump into a voice chat right here. Like, just boom, I am now in Niobe's Hangout, and I'm going to immediately jump out before somebody notices I'm in there, and it's like, hey, what are you doing? But you know, you can do things like that. And then you're able to kind of just talk to your opponent, play your game. Once everything is finished and you all say, GG's, have fun, you can go to the match reporting channel and you can see a lot of people just kind of, all right, let me just scroll up. You can see people are posting things other than that, but you know, in terms of this, just all you'd have to do is just type in, you know, what your result of your game is. Like right here, Wad defeats Bane 2-0. Nice meeting you, bud. Sorry about the dice rolls. Yeah, you'll get a lot of apologizing for dice rolls. This is how it goes. But everybody will report their rounds here. That way Wesley has them, and everything's public as well. You can kind of see the results as it comes in. And then once everything's in, oh, look at this. I beat Josh K 2-1 with Pew Pews. How about that? So this is where all the results get posted in. And then once, you know, 48 hours or all the reportings have come in, then Wes will then post in the pairing section round 2. And you can kind of see it here. So like round 1 happened on August 12th at around 10 p.m., 10:20 p.m. He's 20 minutes late. Come on, Wes. And then results, you know, got in a little bit early. So round 2 went up 6 p.m. on August 14th. So about 2 days after the initial game. And that's kind of the gist of it. Then you play another round, and then, oh, look, 2 days later, round 3 comes up. 2 days later, round 4 comes up. So you're playing one game every 2 days until you finish all rounds of Swiss. Swiss number of rounds is depending on how many players enter. Usually it's 5 to 6 is what we've been seeing online. We typically, you know, we either get, you know, around 30 to 40 players. If it's on the 40 side, it might be 6 rounds of Swiss. If it's just 32 players or 30 players, you'll get 5 rounds. And then there's always a cut. We always do a top 8 cut, especially with those numbers there, just because it's easier and, you know, it's just more for people playing. I obviously, you know, I don't know if there's any formal tournament rules in terms of X number of people equals a top 16 or whatever it may be. But, you know, for right now, we've always been floating around the top 8 works. So that's what we go for. And then from there, you can kind of see like round 1 of the cut. Now everyone's kind of placed. So that's how you're able to see things and do things. And then, you know, once you have less players, it's going up and up and up. It's going faster and faster and faster. The cut plays fast. But, you know, 5 rounds, cut the top 8, 3 rounds of cut. You know, and once you're eliminated, you're out. And also, you're free to drop or stay in at any time. So let's say you play 2 rounds, you start off 0-2, you don't see any way of getting in the cut, and maybe now you don't really think you built your deck right. You're free to drop from the event as well. Just simply message Wes just saying like, hey, I'm dropping for the round and not. But of course, the reason that you're watching this video is because you want to play Warlord. So by all means, come back, play Warlord. Do it. And even if you don't want to play in these tournament things right away, you can play just some pickup games until you're comfortable. So whichever way it works, the main goal of this video and the main takeaway here should be that you have options. If you do not have physical cards or somebody to play with in person, all of us are here online. And even if you do and you just want to be able to play with more people around the world or just from the comfort of your home, by all means, we're all here. Everybody's always willing to play. Just simply just post in the looking for a game chat and somebody will hopefully respond. And then you're able to kind of set your game or just play in our tournaments every now and then once you're more comfortable. These are all open to you guys by all means. And last but not least, let's say you don't want to really play online and you know, okay, we're not offended by that. Don't worry, even though my voice might sound offended. But let's say you wanted to just play online, but you don't even have cards. Well, remember this Accordlands site that I was showing you? Well, this is that little Crun deck we built. If you wanted to do something else, there's this little printer icon. You can click on this and it will automatically generate a PDF that is perfectly sized for every card in your deck. And you are able to print them out, cut them up yourselves, and now you have proxies that can go into card sleeves. And you can now utilize the proxy function here. In-person tournaments, they're now making a comeback. We hosted one in New Jersey. We host them at Gen Con. At any of those events that our community runs, proxies are encouraged. Obviously, real cards are, you know, something we love, but we also understand that this is a game that's been out of print for over a decade. this whole limited number of cards in existence. Maybe you can't afford it, you know, or whatever it may be. Or like, hey, I got most of it, but I only need a few. You were able to print up those proxies here. So like, even if like, this is me printing up a whole deck, but let's say I didn't want to do that. Let's say, and you know, it basically opens this up as like a Firefox tab, or like it might be weird in a Firefox tab. I'm doing this in Google Chrome right now. But let's say you didn't want to do that. Let's say, all right, we cleared the deck list, and you can do that and it disappears. Let's say I had every card in that Krun deck except for no prisoners. Just make sure your build has only no prisoners. Click print, and you're just printing out 3 copies and no prisoners. You're free to do that as well. There can be 8 cards to a page, so that's what I would recommend. You know, if you're gonna print, you know, get your money's worth there. Just don't waste paper. But the only thing, of course, get yourself a pair of scissors, or get yourself, you know, some cutting board, just to make sure you can cut it, and then you can drop these cards into, you know, any sleeve. Have an older card that you might have, or a magic card, like a basic land or whatever, as the back of it inside the sleeve, just so it actually feels like a real card. But the quality of these is pretty good. We have scans of just pretty much everything. So, and again, proxies are encouraged, because again, we understand you guys are here for fun. You know, like nobody's going to print these out to just, you know, make proxies on a secondary market and all that. You know, no one's going to get rich doing that in Warlord. But you can, you know, use this tool as a way to play more games, because that's the ultimate goal, guys. We want people to play Warlord more. And you know why? It's like, oh, it's a dead game, but like, again, you're watching this because you had the itch. We all had the itch. We were like, let's scratch it and play online, and now we're all still here, and it feels like, you know, we're in our younger 20s for most of us, just playing our games. So I hope that this has been informational to you. Hopefully this has kind of shown you, or at least given you a reference point of what you can do in order to kind of get back into the game. But of course, if you come across anything and you have any questions, by all means, the Facebook group and the Discord group, they are always there to answer questions. You can even leave me a comment in this video. I'll get the alert. I'll respond. Always happy to help. If it means we're getting another body playing Warlord with us, I am always happy to that. And again, the question that we always get, you know, especially right now at the time, like, oh man, are we ever going to get new cards? Like, if we can do all this online stuff, can we get new cards? Right now, I don't think there's any plans for that, but, you know, or no plans have been officially announced, but, you know, just like we've been saying here, you never know. Warlord may be coming back, and you might be playing in-person Warlord more than not. So hopefully this video is getting you up to speed and ready for that if it does happen. Well, anyway, hopefully you've liked this video. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to cover in a future video. I'll be happy to do so. But until then, folks, have a good day. Roll some dice. Roll some initiative. And you know, have fun, man. Warlord's a great game. Enjoy it. Thanks, everybody. Take it easy and have a good one. Bye-bye.